Some breaking news for the development of Dragon Ball Xenoverse. We actually got a new news article here by Dragon Ball Super Hype that actually comes from two other very reputable leakers when it comes to Dragon Ball stuff. And they say, according to Sofian Le Geek, Xenoverse 3's development went through a massive delay to adopt a new strategy. Initially, it was going to be made for both PS4 and PS5, but supporting PS4 would have meant graphical limitations, so they did a complete overhaul and made it a next-gen exclusive. The game will feature a highly developed online mode and a story mode packed with tons of content. And again, we actually have two more sources here that we can actually read more about, because again, check out more details on his profile. And I actually wanted to really talk about this really quick. Finally, some news on Xenoverse 3. We know it's not going to be for PS4 and Xbox Series, like Xbox One, right? Because that massively holds games back. They don't make games anymore for those consoles, I'm pretty sure. They don't make games anymore for those consoles. But if you want a good example as to how bad it holds games back, look at Xenoverse 2. When Xenoverse 2 got its next-gen update, it basically barely added anything to the game, because obviously the previous consoles are holding the game back overall. But with Xenoverse 3, I think they realized that, one, they can actually just go all out with the graphics, just like with Sparking Zero and other, newer games like that. And two, the time that it takes to make Xenoverse 3 actually is extended, because obviously this was supposed to come out after the Modube DLC, right? I think I've said this countless times. That was supposed to be the actual final DLC for Xenoverse 2, and then this game would have released. But it went through a massive delay, unquote, and we know that's true because the Modube DLC came out like 7 years ago. That came out in like 2019. So, yeah, they delayed Xenoverse 3 for ages, which means when they say stuff like the game will feature a highly developed online mode and the story mode, I think that's true. I think they know that people are very big on Xenoverse 2's online mode. Not just because of me, by the way, I'm not trying to glaze myself, but I think they know that people really like Xenoverse 2's online mode. It's probably one of the Dragon Ball games that has the most content about online mode, whether you watch Rhymestyle, C-Reacts, even Doya makes videos on the online combat now as well, Afro Senju back in the day, Indakuba, me, Burko. Xenoverse 2 is very popular for its online mode, and obviously the story mode being refreshed, being new, is obviously like a massive thing, right? But it actually makes me really happy to hear that they're focusing on the online mode, because usually, and let's be real guys, anime games, especially like Dragon Ball games, usually have kind of like rocky online modes overall. So to hear them actually go, we're locking in for this one because we know people really care about Xenoverse 2's online mode, we'll go through a massive delay so that way it can be next-gen exclusive. So it's going to be PS5, Series X, PC. You'll be even lucky if this comes out on the Switch anytime soon. Then again, Switch Sparking Zero port, so maybe. And they did a complete overhaul, so that means that the game most likely was going to come out with graphics similar to Xenoverse 2's graphics, right? I would say a good example is look at the model quality of the DLC characters that probably released after the Modube DLC. Look at stuff like Dragon Ball Super Broly, like transforming DBS Broly, right? His model looks great. All of these like super new character models look really damn good, and I'm assuming that's how Xenoverse 3 would have normally looked, but now it's going to look even crazier because of the massive delay. And of course, again, new story mode packed with tons of content. I don't know what this means yet. It could just be the Dragon Ball Z story again, but let's remain hopeful, because they wouldn't say that if it was just the same thing over and over again, right? We also have more news here from Venix talking about Sofian Le Geek claims to have known about the start of development as early as 2020. According to his information, the delay is due to a change in strategy. The developers decided to not release the game on older generation consoles like the PS4 to avoid technical limitations. They prefer to start from scratch to create fully next-gen graphics and deepen the gameplay mechanics. Below are his words. So yeah, as early as 2020, I know you guys might be like, okay, guys, come on, he's known about the game since then. That's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. Again, I want to remind you guys, the Modube DLC, I think, was like 2019. So if someone knew about the game like a year after that, that's like not too absurd to think about, especially if you have inside information. There are loads of people who have friends that just work at these companies that can just tell them, by the way, this is going on, don't tell anyone else, because then we both get in trouble, So it's not crazy to assume that people can just have friends that know information like this, and 2020 is a reasonable time because, again, Modube DLC was like 2019, I believe. If it wasn't 2019, it was 2020, and that was the actual, or was supposed to be the actual final DLC of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. And below are the rest of his words, so without further ado, let's dig in. Sofian says, in 2020, I was one of the few Frenchmen to officially announce to you that a Dragon Ball Xenoverse was in development, and I can prove it in my video from 2020. I was alongside the Xenoverse 2 development team. Dragon Ball FighterZ producer Tomoko Hiroki was also there for a Dragon Ball FighterZ event. Indeed, I was able to chat with them really briefly. It was very quick, but they were there to take notes for their next title. So to me, everything implied that it was for Xenoverse 3, and I told you that in a video you can find on my YouTube channel. That's actually not too crazy to think about. I know that the developers are actually kind of pretty open with the stuff they talk. If you find any of these people who make the Dragon Ball games in public and you interview them, they'll just like tell you like a lot. Like this happened for Sparking Zero as well. We found out about so many characters and leaks from Sparking Zero just because someone asked. Also, this is very minor, but someone actually, like one of the Bandai Namco devs actually mentioned my name directly when someone asked about Dragon Ball YouTubers. So they actually are just very open with what they watch and what they do in their free time. If you just literally go up to them and ask them. So I don't think this is crazy for it to be a statement. Like there's nothing saying, oh, there's no way this could happen. Like this could totally happen. These guys they're pretty loose-lipped if you just go up to them and talk to them. Sophie then goes on to further say, but then why so many years of development for the next Xenoverse? Because there was a massive delay and a new strategic choice was adopted. Here is the information I got from my sources. The game Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 was a bit prettier than the game Xenoverse 2, but it was nothing exceptional compared to the rest of the competition. And consequently, they wanted to level up the graphics by redoing everything from scratch, from A to Z, regarding this title, and that's why there was a delay. Afterwards, they also decided to deepen the game to offer an optimal experience for the player. I even spoke with my friend Saikyo Devon, who confirmed my sources and who has also heard that the game Xenoverse 3 was supposed to be developed on both PS4 and PS5, and consequently, inevitably, if you develop it on a PS4, you find yourself graphically limited. And that is why they explained it to me that they wanted to do a complete graphical overhaul to push the game much further, and I'm completely okay with that. If we can get a Xenoverse game that looks like Sparking Zero, Fighters Kakarot, then goddamn! That would be delicious, man. Imagine your custom characters throwing out these big super attacks, and they actually have massive like effects. Like again, remember when you fire a big attack in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and it has like huge stage presence? You fire big attacks in Fighters and it like scorches the land, that tears up the background. You fire big attacks in Sparking Zero and they have these beautiful explosion effects. They burn some of the ground, they destroy some of the ground, they blow up mountains. Stuff like that is so pretty. So I'm not asking for stage destruction, like big like planetary stage destruction like Tenkaichi, but like I can imagine it now. I can imagine how tasty it's gonna look. Sophie concludes by saying it would be the next-gen exclusive of a gaming experience. From what I've been told, much more developed, with a more developed online mode with a well-crafted story mode, because that's what we are talking about, actually having a successful, well-deepened game with tons of content. Logically, that is what they told me, that there will be quite a bit of content, that it will be truly deep, and consequently, well, I want to know more about it. We all want to know more about it, bro. We all salivating at the goddamn chops trying to find more information about this game, because Xenoverse went from like the laughingstock of Dragon Ball games to like the future GOAT of Dragon Ball games, because people were like, oh my god, never mind, apparently Xenoverse has had it locked down the entire time. Not only was Xenoverse buying time for Sparking Zero to come out, it was buying time for its own future sequel to come out, while also making a ton of money. You think Bandai Namco looks at Xenoverse as a failed project? Like, yeah, you might play Xenoverse 2 right now and be annoyed if you go online on the game, right? Or be annoyed that there's very limited character customization options. But Bandai Namco just sees the dough raking in. They are just licking their goddamn lips, seeing that money coming. They're like, wait a minute. Wouldn't a sequel of this be generational? Why don't we just make another one of those? And they did. They originally wanted to release it. Probably, if we're going to be real, if we're going to be 100% real, Xenoverse 3 was probably going to release maybe like 2021 or something, right? I say 2021, but now that I think about it, Xenoverse 3 was probably going to release in 2022. I think a really good example of that is, remember, Dragon Ball games are on a 2-year release schedule now. A good example is Xenoverse 2 is 2016, Dragon Ball FighterZ is 2018, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is 2020, and then Dragon Ball The Breakers is 2022. And you guys might be like, well, Steve, how could they make Xenoverse 3 and Breakers at the same time? The thing is, they wouldn't make Breakers. They would have just made Xenoverse 3. I think a really good example to this is the fact that Breakers literally just uses Xenoverse as engine and uses all of Xenoverse's assets better than Xenoverse actually does. Might also be another reason why it's hard to just add Breakers assets to Xenoverse, because Xenoverse is just an older game and they were meant for Xenoverse 3. A great example is hair physics for custom characters. That's on Xenoverse 2, but it's in Breakers, most likely because it was going to be in Xenoverse 3. And that, I think that's really telling. New customization options, unique Super Saiyan hairs for our custom characters, even from Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, God, Blue, 4. All of them have unique hairstyles, all of them have unique hair physics, all of them have unique variations based on how the way your custom character looks, and having multiple different outfits that aren't available to wear in Xenoverse 2, as well as new beam effects and like energy blast VFX and sound effects that don't make it into Xenoverse 2, probably because they don't fit in the game's like, you know, cramped engine or anything. Like, think about it. Dragon Ball The Breakers was probably going to just be Xenoverse 3, and then they knew that they were going to delay Xenoverse 3, so they just quickly made some side spin-off game that would, like, you know, hold people off for longer. When you think about it, this game was definitely supposed to drop 2 years after Kakarot, which would have made sense because Kakarot has hair physics, and then Sparking Zero, a game that comes out in 2024, again, the 2-year cycle, also has hair physics. So it wouldn't have been insane to say that the game coming out in between in 2022 would have had hair physics. I know that's probably a lot, but like when you think about it, the development in Dragon Ball games is quite obvious. Again, every 2 years, you see every game like take something from one of the older games, like hair physics, you know, effects, stage presence, the way transformations are done, the way certain combat animations are done. Like, oh my goodness, man. Either way, I think I've rambled on long enough. I just wanted to really get all this out of my system because this broadens our knowledge of what we know about Xenoverse 3. Because not only do we know that the game is next-gen exclusive now, the game was definitely supposed to release 4 years ago, which is insane. Now, because it's releasing in current day, or I guess in 2027, it's going to look way better. It's going to be way more refined. Again, if Xenoverse ends up having a Sparking Zero online, that would be very blessed, because Sparking Zero's online is very, very good. Xenoverse 2's online is very bad, obviously. But I wouldn't mind trading Sparking Zero's lag for Xenoverse's lag. If Xenoverse had Sparking Zero's lag, holy hell, that game would actually be fun to play online again. I think people would actually come back to the game. So let's wait and see how they actually handle Xenoverse 3's connection. But I think for now, that is a pretty solid place to end the video. Again, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe, as it greatly supports the channel, and please leave a comment down below as to what you like to see next, fellas. And again, link to the tweets all in the description down below, because man, this is just delicious information. I cannot wait for more, and I think that'll be it. I do love you all. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, and peace.